One podcast, mining the Magic the Gathering community for salt. This is the Howling Salt Mine.
It's the Howling Salt Mine. The Howling Salt Mine.
Well, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Howling Salt Mine podcast, the podcast where we delve into those salty, salty mines of the Magic the Gathering community, find the salty stories, the salty posts we love, put them in our mine cart, and bring them right back up to you, our dear podcast listeners at home. As always, I'm joined by my...
Did you say that?
What do I
You said podcast listeners instead of prospectors at home. Fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
We're a little thrown off. We're in a different environment.
We
right
did
now.
just sleepover mode and things
40 times in a row, though.
Yeah. This is a sleepover mode right now. As always, I'm your host, Sam, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, singular for now, Tony. Say hey, Tony.
What up, what up, what up?
And before we go any further, you know we got to shout them out, our nice tier patrons. And this week we have Prime Speaker Florian, Cream Bean, Accidental TPK, Alex Balix, Dr. Black, and ZZ. Thanks for being so nice, everyone.
Thank you.
And you probably heard a couple other voices here. We are joined by our friend Dan from Moderately Anonymous MTG. Say hey, Dan.
No, what do you mean? It's me, Tony.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my god.
That's what we
so
call
hard.
That's what we call a callback in the industry, folks. Referencing last time Dan was on the episode, and then of course our buddy Ken Baumann. What's up, Ken?
Hello, everybody.
We got a crazy crew going here right now.
Yeah, it's pretty
you know?
good. It's good energy.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty quirked up. Pretty quirked up.
Right now we're all crisscross applesauce, either on the bed or the floor. Dan is down on the floor.
I don't know why you have to single me out like that. The podcast listeners would never have known.
And
For the people at home who it's like, you know, were you on the floor or were you on the bed during
Yeah.
your sleepovers growing up?
oh, that's an interesting one. I feel like sleepovers when I was a kid, it was so bare bones. I had like one friend who would come over prepared because he was a Boy Scout. He'd bring like a sleep mat and a sleeping bag and be like ready.
So the fucking nerd that
Yeah.
you were, the nerd friend?
Literally.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, Ken outing himself as the guy who falls asleep on the couch with the pizza box on top of him.
No. I was the kid who
That's it.
stayed up for the whole fucking time, and I was the only one there, and I was like, God, this sucks. I'm like just playing Final Fantasy VII. Everybody's falling asleep already.
Cowards.
Yeah, I don't know who needs to sleep at a sleepover.
Yeah, it's really, is it a sleepover or a slumber party? you know?
Slumber party.
It depends on.
Yeah, it should be a
You
party.
have to specify that before you invite everyone over, I think.
What's the difference between sleep and slumber?
Slumber is if you have a liberal arts degree. Sleep is
So me and Ken slumber.
Yeah,
And I sleep. Yeah, I remember going over to my friend Andy's house, and he just like lived in an apartment with his mom, and like we would go over and play D&D until like 2 or 3 a.m.
Yeah.
powered only by a 12-pack of Mountain Dew or whatever soda we could find. And then we'd go to sleep, and he'd go and sleep in his bedroom. And the 3 or 4 of us would just like pass out on the carpet with nothing.
Whoa,
You know?
no
raw dogging
blanket,
it
no
up.
blankets.
Yeah, I've been there many
like
times.
no
Yeah.
blankets, like we'd split like couch pillows, and sometimes it was cold, and you'd like just
Yeah.
put anything like trash over yourself.
You
to try
didn't
to
join
rest.
you guys either in that like
No,
living
he was just
area,
like,
or
fuck you,
guys
figure
just-
yourself out.
You didn't
No,
go into
I
his
mean,
room?
He just let us fucking suffer, man.
He's
would
just a
be
little
like-
boy, you know. He's not thinking about that kind of stuff.
We were teens, preteens, but
I would say that an adult man still wouldn't think to do that most of the time.
Very true. It's
Who
like,
gave you
yeah,
blankets
but-
last night?
I'm going to bed.
yeah, Lou
What are you talking about? I had to tell Ian to go tell you guys where to get blankets
Holy
and fucking
shit.
vacuum.
Oh yeah. I should mention that we're in Lua and Ian's apartment, just recording a podcast. But yeah, slumber parties they were just different as a kid. I think I only had a couple families that were like truly prepared to house another child for the evening.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was like, here's, we have one blanket. You guys can figure it out.
Here's one bag of fruit snacks.
Yeah.
Just a split amongst you. We'll see you in the morning. You'll
I've
eat cereal and get the
found
fuck
a
out of
bath
here.
towel in someone's house and be like, this is my blanket for the night.
Or pillow.
Oh, totally,
You roll that
dude.
shit up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah. It's like taking like your shirt and rolling it up and putting it under your head.
Yeah, been there.
But we were
Rough
different then
times.
because we're children, so like it basically didn't matter. Yeah,
It's true.
No, if I
could
did
just,
that
like,
now, my
sleep
back
on
would
the
be,
ground.
yeah,
I'd
the bullshit when
I'd
I
wake
woke
up. I wouldn't wake up. I'd be dead.
Yeah, you would just, you would die.
That would be my eternal slumber.
Yeah, Sam died last night. He slept on a rolled up t-shirt and all of his bones broke.
His mid 30-year-old body could not handle the strain. Yeah. It's rough, man. Slumber parties. I don't think I've had one in quite a while.
Well,
It's
you
time to
literally
change
just
that.
woke up from one.
Yeah, you literally did.
Oh man, we
Last
totally
night
did.
was a
Basically,
slumber party.
Like you and I
Up to,
were
like,
whispering
3.
sweet nothings into each other's ear as we were going to bed. Like,
Yeah.
I feel a little offended that you said it wasn't a slumber
so
party.
true.
This is the same shit as earlier where you're like, I don't know if I have your phone number.
Yeah.
That was so funny. I don't know if I have your phone number. Oh, you're the last person that texted me.
Yeah.
I was literally like, have a safe flight.
Oh man. Oh, so good. Well, you guys want to get into some salt here?
Oh, Sam, what is salt?
What the hell is that?
Well, thank you for asking, Tony.
Like, excuse me, what is salt? Can you define that?
Oh,
You're making fun of me right now. This sucks.
Shit.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Tony
Fucking
doing
so
an
bad.
impression of Dan, doing an impression of Tony.
yeah.
Inception, baby.
We're incepted right now.
So deep.
I was so mad when I listened to that episode in like a friendly way, but I was like, what the fuck this?
Tony, I want you to know for the record, I don't think you sound like that.
It brought me
The
great
fans
joy.
think you do.
I started putting it on the
It's
record.
canon now.
They all of the
This
listeners.
is how I sound.
The listeners carried the bit. They yes-anded so hard. Like,
I like
Larry
that.
sounded great on this episode.
Literally so many posts in the Discord about it.
There was like one person who was like, "Leave Tony alone." And we're all like, "Nah."
No, I love Tony. I love Tony. Tony fan.
Yeah, exactly. We do this because we love you. Well, should we jump into a salty story here? Let's rip one. Oh, and I should say, we're recording this over the course of a day. This may be a rotating cast. For this first story, we'll have Dan and Ken. For the next one, we may not. We're just going to see what kind of happens.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So let's hit this first story. Lately, I've just been ripping them from my email live. You guys have a funny search term that I can use to try to, like, any
For a
search
salty
term that I
story.
can try
Any
to
search
find.
term?
Maybe a
George
magic
Washington
card.
would work. Or
I don't think so.
Chemtrails?
Chemtrails? I don't know if that's gonna
I
give me
would be
anything.
very surprised if that got a hit.
Oh. Chemtrails doesn't, but chem does.
Okay, that's
If
perfect.
someone was smoking on some chem dog or something.
Yeah, exactly. So I was smoking on some Kim Dog.
Hey, salty boys.
Then I
My
looked up
friends
this on
call me
chemtrails.
Chem Dog. Let's see. So this one comes to us from our buddy Z Burns, and the post is titled "Reverse Pub Stomping: A Tale of Simic Shortcomings." And the story goes, "Hey guys, my friends call me Chem Dog." No. It does not say that. Hey guys, I love the podcast, and after binging every episode, I look forward to every new salty story and every salty card of the week. After a good night of playing mostly upgraded precons and custom jank, Prismatic Bridge, Old Commander Tribal, at my LGS, one of the guys in the pod asked if we could bump up the power to cEDH. Surprisingly, everyone in the group had a deck. This person, player 1, pulled out Emodi, Celebrant of Bounty. Not a cEDH deck I know. Player 2 pulled out a Tivit, Teller of Secrets. Player 3 pulled out Kenrith, the Returned King, and I also pulled out my Kenrith of the Returned King deck. The first turn, player 1 plays a land, Elvish Mystic, and passes. We all just take a turn or two setting up our board states. Player 1 then drops turn 2 Rhystic Study and passes. Over the next couple turns, they drop a dork or two, while the rest of the table begins to pop off. Tivit going for the Time Sieve combo, the other Kenrith going for Dockside Emil loops. Oop, rest in piss, Dockside. But I have interaction to shut down them both. Turn 5, it makes it back to the Tivit player, and they cast Thassa's Oracle, and with the ETB on the stack, cast Consultation. After using my interaction on the last couple of win attempts, I asked the Emodi player if they have any interaction for the Demonic Consult on the stack. They say they have nothing in hand, so I proceeded to cast a couple spells as an attempt to help them draw into something with the Rhystic Study. I ask if they drew anything, to which they respond with, "Oh, I don't know why are you even trying to draw me cards. I don't run counter spells in this deck."
Whoa,
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, dude.
Base.
They feel bad if I hit them with Emodi. With the cascades. I can agree with that. It does feel bad to hit a counter.
It's true. It's not good deck building.
Yeah.
The table just stops with focusing on the game, and we ask them how they planned on stopping combos or other people from winning if they didn't run any interaction. To which they replied, "Everyone else seems to have answers for them."
That's the most base shit I've ever heard in my fucking life.
That's a fucking flubs player. We gotta get
100%,
this person
literally.
in the
Put them on
yeah.
flubs.
Yeah.
Put them on flubs.
That person is zenned out.
Yeah.
We continue for a few minutes trying to explain that it's almost impossible to have a good deck, much less a cEDH deck, without interaction.
Wrong.
Pre-flubs.
Yeah.
Pre-flubs lifestyle.
It really is. We proceed to lose to the Throkel combo, and the Emodi player has 18 cards in hand as we lose the game. Long story short, we had a 3-player cEDH game, get fucked first player, where the person who got pub stomped was the one who asked for the cEDH game. That is wild.
The Emodi player was the one who asked to bump things up?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, that's really,
Emodi
really
was like,
funny.
let's play cEDH.
Yeah, hell yeah.
dude. Yeah, that's awesome.
This
I love
person
the spirit.
rules, actually.
They got a lot of chutzpah.
Yeah.
I want to see that Emodi deck. Like,
I bet
what
it's
is going
it's all
on? in
gas.
that?
It's like flubs. It's just
Yeah,
all
it's
gas.
just going to be full of like
Just
things
draw
that cost
spells.
8 and 9 mana. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Yeah.
going to have like expropriate and omniscience and
Yeah.
shit.
Literally.
This is my cEDH deck.
Yeah, just like
Hell yeah.
big spells. That's so fucking funny, man. I mean, you know, we've said it a bunch now, but flubs is where this person should be playing.
They
no
should be playing
hand,
flubs.
no interaction.
Absolutely.
Just playing on your turn.
Yeah.
It's it's good old fair magic, but
Yep.
in cEDH.
Yep, exactly. And you don't have to think about counter spells. You don't have to think about being responsible. You don't have to think about anything, in fact.
You either win or you lose.
Yeah, because that's what the game is.
At its heart.
Don't
That
let the
is.
counterspell dogmatists get in your fucking head.
Hey, that
Live your
Emodi
own
player
life.
is not.
Yeah.
They're not letting them
No,
get
that
in their
person
head.
is
Dude.
actually in the right.
There is something about, like, we had this on our Vegas Clip Show episode. Like, when you're the blue player, people do expect you to have
Something.
blue cards.
Anything.
No matter what's
A blue
happening,
one.
you know? Like people are always like, "You're playing blue. Why aren't you answering?"
Yeah,
us?"
you have
Bro,
the
it's not a
interaction.
hand.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. Sometimes you just don't have it.
Bro,
Sometimes you don't
not
have it in
running
your hand.
counter spells.
Sometimes you have it in your deck.
I just don't do it.
I don't know.
They're
why
saying
you're
coffin flop isn't a show.
It's like taking the line like, I don't run ad nos when you're on a black
Necro
deck.
instead of
Like, oh, I don't run
Yeah,
those
yeah.
things. Just to like the furthest extent, I don't even run counter spells.
Yeah, it's fine.
Don't worry. You don't have
I
to.
love the
deal with
bro.
it.
I don't know why you're even drawing me cards right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool to say.
That was like they set
you don't
up
need
their
to
own
do
joke
that.
over the course
Yeah,
of this.
exactly.
That feels like the literal moment in a movie where everybody at the table like slow turns to that player.
Yeah,
It's just like,
exactly.
what the
Like,
fuck?
Yeah.
Like, are you?
I mean, they said Emodi, and already I was like,
They're, you know
isn't a
they're
CDH
cooking.
deck.
You know they're cooking when they say that.
yeah, they are cooking something.
Yeah.
They're cooking one of those like Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda meals.
I was
that
just about to
it's
say
like
that.
pixelated.
Hell
and,
yeah.
and stinky,
Unpleasant meal or
and it
whatever.
barely
Yeah.
heals you. Yeah, because you put like a monster pancreas in it
Yeah,
or something.
you get half a heart for that one. I don't know. No counter spells.
Oh man, I love that, and just the rage and the indignancy of it, of them being like, "What the fuck,
Yeah.
dude."
No, that's what I love. I love when decks that's performance art right there.
Yeah.
You're just bucking all expectations. You're just doing exactly what you want and being like, oh, you expect me to do what you want? Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I want. This is a hobby, bitch.
Well, you have to also imagine that I guess the person who wrote in was like casting spells and being like, okay, you can draw, you can draw, you can draw. And then we're just like, why are you talking to me?
Yeah. Stop. Leave me alone.
The game's done, dude.
Dude, I'm on Emodi. Don't you know? Don't you know this list?
Yeah.
Don't feed me cards.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to feed me, guys.
Yeah.
I don't even want to be fed. I want to cascade. And
Yeah, exactly.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Decline the draw.
yeah, don't even put a ristic
You
study near
have to-
Emodi.
Yeah, fuck Ristic Study. Just
Yeah.
don't play it.
I don't even know if she used to have that in an Emodi list.
Dead. Cascade into it, dead.
You want to
card.
draw some cards, but not too many. You know?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, you
that's
want
right.
to have cards to cast.
Just a couple, just mana, enough to cast Emodi, and then one big thing. Then that's it. You win.
I
I'm
will
more of
say-
a glutton than Ken is.
As an Emodi player, it sucks to flip into a counter spell.
Oh yeah,
like,
you're
I have
dead.
a few
You
in
just
my
do
list,
nothing.
and you're just like, and
I would imagine they need to be like a Venser or something like that.
Yeah, there you go.
oh yeah,
Yep.
or something
Modal.
that has like
Modal.
an activated ability where like
Yeah.
it comes down, and you're like, cool, like my whatever that fairy with persist is.
Yeah.
Like sick. This comes out. I can use it later on
Yep.
as a counter
Yeah.
spell, but
Sublime Epiphany. I hope that player is playing Sublime
Ooh.
Epiphany.
yeah, because then
That's a
you
really
can
good one.
you can use it
Yeah,
to
so
drop.
just mode,
I like
modes
that,
and be like,
dude.
whatever, no counterspell. And then you can actually use it as a counterspell
Yeah, if you need it.
if you need it.
Yeah.
Is that card cheap? My deck
Yeah.
is
Oh yeah,
budget.
definitely.
yeah,
That's
for
like
sure.
sub $1 for sure.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I should put that in Emodi.
Mm-hmm.
I've been cooking on that list a lot lately.
Oh, wow.
For
Mostly
CDH.
Yeah, for CDH. yeah, hell yeah,
No
bro.
counter spells,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
Rhythmic Study. There is going to be an underworld breach.
Yeah. You know, it sucks to flip into the fast mana, dude. You get a Mox Diamond, and it's like, well, I don't have a land in my hand, so I cut all those two.
Mhm.
It sucks to flip into a 1-drop dork, so I cut all that. No, I'm kidding. Those are all in.
Those rule.
Those are all in.
Well, what do we think about the salt rating here on this one?
This is tough because it is so joyous and entertaining.
Yeah, Ken and I have chosen this person as our spiritual champion.
I choose you, Pikachu.
There's a hero in this story.
Negative 5,000 salt for me. I'm delighted by that. If I were in that pod, I'd be like, hell yeah, brother. I'd give that person a fucking high five, and that would be that. We'd go to game 2.
Yeah.
I would ask that person if they wanted to get a hot dog after
Yeah,
the game.
exactly.
I definitely feel that energy, but it's the element of the rest of the pod not
Yeah.
not knowing that that's like
It's
what they're.
it's a very funny punchline.
Yeah. It's a perspective thing. The salt changes depending on what chair you're sitting in.
Well,
And
I
since
think
we're
once they
all in
pull
the
out
corner of the
Emodi,
room in the
though,
cup
like-
chair, it's very funny.
Yeah.
But once they put Emodi on the table, you have
You
to
can piece it
instantly,
together.
yeah, change your expectations of what might happen in that
Exactly.
game.
Totally. Yeah. Like, I mean, as I was reading it, I was like, Emodi?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Immediately, I was like, I don't
That's
think
the
that's
reaction that
They,
anyone
they
would
were
have
all
if they
like
bring out
newer
the
to it,
pivot deck
right?
or
So
whatever.
it's like they didn't
Yeah.
know.
True.
They
That's
might
a
not
really good
know
point.
that like there is no Emodi CD.
They're like, well, Simic
so
is
like,
good.
oh, they must have brought something fucking spicy, and then
Yeah.
they're like, oh no, I just brought my casual deck.
I assume that's the case. Yeah, just like this person has this deck, and everyone who plays against it is like, dude, that deck is powerful. And it's like, well, I guess it's a CDH deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if there's like an Emodi list that you could play almost like a polymorph list where you only have like a couple things in the deck, but then it would just be like 97
60 lands.
Yeah, that's right.
And like a
Maelstrom
polymorph
Wanderer.
spell,
Yeah. The classic Maelstrom Wanderer deck.
Yeah. Well, I would say that this is, I don't know if it's high salt. I think it's just the confusing salt where you're just sort of like, what are we doing? I thought we said CDH, you know? But like you said, very new to it.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't know what is quite there yet. And honestly, I can't fault the Emodi player's logic.
Me too. Yeah. No,
You know?
they were pure.
Yeah,
You know,
but
like-
if you're gonna do that, you're not allowed to play blue. Generally speaking,
Yeah.
Flubs is the exception, but it's
Yeah,
like
Flubs.
I have that opinion,
Yeah.
and that's why I play Rakdos. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
Exactly.
I have my specific answers, but I expect other people to answer
Yeah.
shit. At the
That's why I
table
play
for the
Naya
most part.
mostly because I'm like, well, I'm not going to have a counterspell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no one's going to look to me and be like, where's that Force of Will, Sam? Like,
Honestly, sometimes it's kind of fun because we're like playing games this weekend, right? I played some games with Ian, and he's like ignores me in the do people
Yeah.
have answers? And I did have an answer for one of the things. I was like, fuck you.
That's the part that's
Rakdos
very
can
nice,
do
yeah.
it.
I love like playing Mardu and you're in that situation.
Yes,
Everyone's
yeah.
like, oh man, we're all out of answers. And I'm just holding a grip full of silence. And I'm like, I wish we could do something.
Yeah, it's great. Sucks.
yeah, you can really play it close
Yeah.
to the chest with those types of like
Yeah.
off color or Sans blue lists. So good. Well, should we do another salty story?
Yes.
Whoa, what's this? A change in guest hosts? Ken is still here.
Hello.
Tony is gone.
Bye, Tony.
But we also have Lua and Tori of the Scry-Babies joining us.
I think you're forgetting somebody. We actually also have Oko in the room.
And Oko. Oko, say something.
He's so hot, he doesn't have to speak.
Yeah, that's right.
Hello there.
Strong silent type.
Dad is so mean to me.
Yeah, that's what he sounds like. Yeah.
Or I guess my kid is so mean to me. My kid is so
Yeah.
mean to me.
Oko probably does sound like that.
Yeah.
My wife is so hot. We have a weird little orange baby.
Wait, Oko doesn't?
Has
are
a
you confusing
orange baby?
Oko and is that Oko's baby? Luke?
No, that's
Oh, it's Jace's baby. I'm mixing
my
up
God.
everybody. I was
Holy
like, my kid, my
moly.
son. Oko,
Honestly,
fans around. You know,
I know so little about
Me neither.
about magic lore that
I'm like, whatever.
You believe me?
could-
I
I
make
could
shit
say
up.
believed you.
You could
I
I
was
make
like,
up all the
damn,
fucking lore.
they took Oko's baby. Holy
I was
fuck.
literally
Yeah.
like, this is the same guy. This is the same man.
Yes.
The
in
same
the
little
thing.
orange dude. I mean, they both, they're both
him at
they both
Emo
got a
Night.
similar
That
vibe.
is him. That's him. That's Jason Emo Night.
Yeah.
That's Oko.
Yeah.
He's kind of like Batman Bruce Wayne.
He got into the blue body.
Wait, are you
paint.
telling me that Jace's child is the little furry orange loot?
Yes.
Yes.
They adopted him.
Well, and also Jace did give birth.
Okay, yeah, that's really what I'm after.
Mhm.
I'm after that.
Yep.
Cool.
This is now a
Popped
lore
him right out.
podcast.
Yeah,
Everything
very
we say is
popping
true.
right out. Yeah, good.
Thought it was
Yeah.
a kidney stone.
Uh-huh.
It was like that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Yeah.
Where he gets pregnant?
Not Total
Not
Recall.
Total
yeah, where he gets pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
I don't even know what it's called.
It's got Danny DeVito in it. That's all I know.
They did
Yeah.
a lot of movies together.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well, should we jump into a salty story? We got one right here.
Yeah.
Let's do it. This one comes to us from our buddy Slothic, a submission through our lovely website. You can submit your salty stories there too, and you should. And this post is titled Priority Schmiority.
That's good. That's relatable already.
Yeah, classic. And the story goes, I was at my LGS with a couple friends and we were waiting for a fourth when, quote, the guy walked in. The guy sits down and plops down a playmat with an anime girl in a suggestive pose and an outfit. I roll my eyes, but whatever. Then he pulls out his deck, a fully unsleeved deck that looked gnarly, like it had gotten a few years of use. He shuffles and plays with us.
Pristine playmat, disgusting cards
Yeah,
to go on.
absolutely.
Priorities.
Uh-huh.
Priorities.
Yeah. Whoa, look at that.
Like the playmat, obviously, it's a little cringe. Don't do things at the
Yeah.
LGS. Keep that at your house. The unsleeved deck,
That's cool.
there's a point where
Still
I
cool.
respect it.
Yeah, it's still cool.
It is cool.
Rubber band your unsleeved deck. It's the way to go.
okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's fun. Play on the concrete,
Blacktop.
Play
Yeah.
on the blacktop playground. And it continues. The first couple of games are fine, but not without issue. The guy would regularly argue the rules. He'd try to play a card wrong or would get an interaction wrong. So I would look up the rulings immediately on Scryfall and show him. This helped for the first 2 games, but then came game 3. The game started fine until I cast Dream Halls. Pause. Should we read Dream Halls?
Yeah.
Dream Halls. Discard a card, shares a color with the card you want to cast. You can cast it for free. 3 blue enchantment.
Ken.
Wow.
I got you, baby.
You're our own Scryfall.
Absolutely. I'm a fucking computer for this shit.
Ken, do you want a job?
I'm so sorry, Tony Mike. I think we're taking over the podcast. Us 5.
I was just like,
doing pretty good.
I've been traumatized.
The Howling Scry Ken podcast
Oh,
is
man.
about to
Yeah.
Too many magic cards in this dumb brain. You're good.
All right, so that's what Dream Halls
Yeah.
does. Discard something that shares a color with a spell. You can guess.
Rip it for free.
And it hits everybody. It's symmetrical
Absolutely.
when it comes out. I pointed out the effect, then went on to discard a card through Dream Halls to cast my commander, Nekusar, if you're curious, but it's irrelevant for the story. I know. Yeah, you should feel a little bad for playing Nekusar, but it's fine. The guy immediately interjects, whoa. You can't just speed through casting spells in your turn. He then casts an instant speed removal spell targeting Dream Halls. I replied, okay, which spell are you responding to? If you're responding to Dream Halls, it's not on the battlefield yet, so there's nothing for you to target. If you're responding to Nekusar, I still already paid the cost for the spell, and he's on the stack, so I will still get my commander, but Dream Halls will go away. He pushed back with, no, I'm casting this between your 2 spells, so you can't cast Nekusar.
No, hell yeah. That's sick.
That's classic.
Yeah. This is a special time.
Oh, yeah.
Only I can cast spells in the special time.
I'm dumbfounded. I don't have a problem with him trying to prevent me from casting my commander. That's the correct play. But the rules don't allow for what he's proposing. So I tried to explain how priority works. I got about 5 seconds in before he continued to argue. Being tired and worn down from all the other rule arguments earlier in the night, I let him have it. Fuck it. It's not worth it. So Dream Halls was destroyed. I was set pretty far back for the rest of the game. I wasn't able to come back. Thankfully, I've only seen the guy one other time since then, and that was at the beginning of the year. I don't mind losing, but there's a special kind of salt that comes from losing because your opponent refused to follow the rules. Thanks for listening.
Okay.
Pretty classic Salt here. It's funny because we were talking about playing Cards Unsleeved in the Blacktop Playground, because this is very much schoolyard rules, where it's like, I hold priority, so my spell resolves no matter what kind of vibes. You know, like, there's this special time in the priority stack where I can like insert my spell and it's all good. It's like it's an interesting thing.
Yeah. I think some people think they know more than they do.
Yeah.
Right. And like, it's also so easy. In my suggestion, it would just be like, talk to somebody who works at the store. There's many things you could do. Somebody who works there, be like, hey, is there a judge nearby? Or can you do some rules things or whatever else? Also, if the playmat makes you uncomfortable, tell the store owner, say, hey, this thing is probably not great for children. And this is somebody who does like adult content and has a spicy deck box, right?
Yeah.
Like, as somebody who does that, I don't encourage people to bring those things to your local game store. You want to do that shit at home with your homies?
Exactly.
Go in and play, tabletop Magic upstairs with your friends. Like, that's super, super okay. So any of those things that bother you, I feel like those are all things you can always approach your like local LGS owner or like employee and be like, hey, can you help me with the situation in a way that shouldn't make you feel like unsafe to do so. Right.
For sure. I really like what you're saying about like calling the store owner or like a manager as a judge, because I think if you're so exasperated at that point, like, it's great to lean on a third party and be like, oh, I don't think that's right. Let's get someone to come over, you know?
Yeah. And that's just like, I just want to make sure we're doing things right. Like, even if it's not a tournament, you just want to make sure, be like, I'm a new player and I want to be sure so we can all do this
we
too.
We all want to learn, you know?
And I think if somebody fights you on that, that's just like, also, you can just pack up your things and like play with somebody else, which sucks, right? You're there to play. But obviously, I don't know if it's obviously, but if that's the way somebody's acting, then I'm not incentivized to play more games with you if you don't want to at least have a conversation.
Same.
Like, really going through that and hearing those things out. So, I don't know.
Can I just say, I'm mostly shocked on game 3, because I don't think I would go past game 1.
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool, bro. Yeah, you got it.
At what point do you realize this person is just not someone you want to play with?
Yeah.
You know, like if I walked into a store and I saw the guy and they were like, yeah, can we jam a game? I'd be like, yeah, we could play one. And then after that game, if it was that abysmal, I'd be like, you know what? Supper's ready. Gotta go. I'm out of here. And then as far as like the rule interaction, I hate being that person. I'm throwing my goddamn hand up and calling a judge. Not that I want to do that, because I assume that this is a Commander game, right? This is a casual, like, just we're all hanging out casual game. Not that I want to call a judge, but like, you're straight up cheating. Literally cheating and saying like, no, this is how you play. Which, like, yeah, there's like, you don't know. But then if you're insisting, even though like someone's being like, no, that's not right, I'm pulling it up on the phone in 2024 on Google.
Yeah.
You are just blatantly cheating and will continue to do so.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really good point about like continuing to do so. Like, you know, we all get stuff wrong in Magic games. It's a fucking complicated game.
The most complicated game, maybe.
There's so much to it. This game is literally over 30 years old with so many keywords and card types that change every set. There's no way that one person can keep things up. And certain cards, like, if you're taught wrong, then you're just going to assume that's correct.
Exactly.
Kind of thing, right? Like,
and if someone doesn't take the time to correct you, and again, it's exasperating, like, I get it, but like, this person's going to go on to be confidently incorrect in other games and like cause more of these weird feelings.
Yep.
I'm the kind of person that I'm very by the rules. Like, I have no problem stopping a game and being like, let's all look it up, because I would rather be right than move forward being wrong.
Yep.
And have that like little bit of doubt and confusion. And, you know, I mean, more power to you if you're exasperated and you just want to be like, hey, whatever, fuck it, let's just fucking end the game. But still push for it.
A small thing too is like, when you play at an LGS with a lot of people you don't know, at least when I started, I would like sit down, people would be like, card name, pass. And like,
oh, so
you don't
fast.
know what a card does. So like, even if that person wasn't sure of it and like afraid to ask, and they're so confidently saying yes, you might just believe them that it goes that way, right? And like, this person went and was like, hey, don't think it works that way, right? And like, that's a really good thing. I think it's fine to ask that and talk about that, right? But if you're worried about it, especially in like a small LGS where you might have, you know, not a lot of people to play with, and this might be, you know, you were talking about the third game, and I agree with you, I'd be out at 1, but not everybody has that luxury, and maybe that's like, you know, a smaller space. And so I would just, again, call back to that judge or that owner of the store or somebody to like interfere in a way that's like positive, and we can, grow from this as players, not be salty.
Yeah, and like that person shouldn't take it personally, because like, God forbid you sit down with newer players and you're like, no, you can interact here. They might carry that with them and like
for sure
tell their newer friends.
Oh yeah.
And then before you know it, you got like a whole classroom of people who don't know how that works. When I first started playing, Kalia, and somebody at my LGS told me that the Master of Cruelties thing brings their life to 1, and that I do not get Kalia's damage through. It just brings someone to 1.
Oh, and then stops.
And it just doesn't see. But I believed them because I was new.
Too,
So I was like, oh, okay. Because everyone's like, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. And I was like, scratching my head, like, well, then why would they put that in the deck?
Yeah,
Like, it's so cool.
Yeah.
And then one day someone's like, no, you're dead if that happens.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
but this guy at the game store 2 years ago confidently told me I couldn't, and I believed him.
Right.
It's hard. I mean, I feel like this guy too. If you're a waifu Matt guy, you should be like chill and calm about being corrected.
Oh, for sure.
Like, because if you're going to show up and you're already pushing with a little bit like that, you should try to match that with a humble attitude. Because if he was super chill, but he's got the waifu map, people might be like, all right, this guy's actually, pretty, he's fine. He's easy to play
with.
with.
Ask.
Yeah.
Are you guys, is this playmat okay? Like, it depends on how, like, there's a lot of things with anime stuff too, where sometimes it's just like they have a low cut shirt and it's not even over voluptuous.
Nami just looks
It's
like
Nami,
that, all
right?
right?
Like things like that. So it could have been like for somebody else, they might not be comfortable with Nami looking like that. And it might for him just been, this is Nami and I'm used to this, right? Or he knows what he's doing and that's a completely different.
Y'all mind if I objectify women real quick?
Yeah, is that okay? Is that chill?
Yeah.
Exactly. Right?
I don't know. I'm a huge fan of being humble towards this game because good God, is it complicated?
Exactly.
And and just being humble in general about like, if you're sitting down with strangers too.
Yeah.
And somebody and numerous strangers are like, bro, this is not how it works.
Yeah, this ain't it.
Be open to being wrong. It's good. If you're wrong and you learn, you're a better person. If you're wrong and you are bullheaded and just stubborn, you don't learn anything. You don't improve.
It's true. So what do we think the salt rating is for this story?
That's pretty. I mean, I'd say it's pretty salty. It's salty to play with somebody who's just objectively wrong about the rules and is refusing to be inquisitive or curious about it. That's frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a full salt shaker for me.
No.
But maybe like 3/4 full. But I would have left when it was a quarter full. Like the rules stuff like that, when someone is so confidently wrong, really does bug me, especially when I'm trying to like get it right and like telling them. I would not have made it to game 2. No,
me neither.
I think it's like a moderate thing. Like I've never scooped for Magic in my life, and I like refuse to. I'm like, we're finishing the game no matter how long it takes. For your mental health, it is okay to scoop if things like that are happening.
Oh, yeah.
Just be really
Sure.
clear. Like,
it's in
you
the
can
rule.
scoop at any time.
Turns out they can't just, put you in servitude and make you finish a game.
Right.
Legally or physically. They just can't do it.
And so part of this is like, it's moderate to me because like you have the power to leave.
Yeah.
You have the power to like do these things. And I think as a player, like you should feel comfortable doing that in your space. If you don't feel comfortable doing it in your space, then that might be something to talk to your LGS about doing. Or if they're not hearing you out, maybe finding a different place to play, which sucks because it is hard sometimes depending on where you're living.
Yeah.
But it's also a thing where that person should know better. And maybe they don't know better as much as you could expect somebody to know better, right? So it's a little moderate. It could go both ways.
I think so too.
I think it is a justifiable salt.
Yes.
100%.
Like, I think this is the salt where it's like, we're out of salt at home. I'm getting the pink sea salt.
The Himalayan pink
The
sea salt.
Himalayan pink sea salt going in like the, battery powered salt shaker, justifiable full salt. I'm full there for it. Because like I said, the second someone is wrong and is like, no, I'm so right.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about this. I'm done.
Yeah.
Tilted.
Same.
I want this guy's
Tilted.
special priority phase, though. That's sick.
Oh, dude.
Just be like, no, between the two things that you do that are good for you, I have a special thing that I can do that's bad for you that you can't stop. That's sick.
When there's a stack and you can insert a spell deeper into the stack that already exists.
Yeah, sorry.
That's a powerful thing.
No, I'm going underneath.
I'm actually going between.
I'm weaving them. I'm weaving them in.
This guy's got like the interstellar stack.
Yeah. It's in the
It
bookcase.
transcends time.
Exactly.
And
even more
space.
split second.
Yeah.
And we learned it from the guy.
Yeah, that
we
guy,
did.
the guy taught me something.
Hey,
today.
the guy taught me that this is legal. So.
Yep.
Shout out to the guy.
Shout out to the guy,
maybe we're
of
coming around
whom
to the
there
guy.
are so many in the world, and we're all so lucky.
Oh, gosh. Well, that was a great one. Should we do another salty story?
It's up to you.
Let's do it. Oh, wait. A little guesto change, Joe.
In
Tony and
addition
I-
of a host.
Aficionado.
Yeah, and Mike is here now. And Tony and Mike are sharing a microphone, which is why you just heard half of what he said.
And we'll continue to do.
We also have Tyler from Play to Win here.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Tyler. Welcome.
Thanks.
And Ian, comedian MTG.
Hello, you've reminded me of my identity, and I appreciate that.
We're in your home.
Yeah. Which also has a secret mine in it that you guys haven't found yet. Which
Wow.
Is fun. Yeah.
Like a landmine?
What are you, cop?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Nobody move.
Oh my god.
You have to tell me if you're a cop, Tim.
The slumber party vibes have changed.
Yeah.
It's all fun and games till one person steps on the landmine.
It's still a slumber party. It's just the eternal slumber.
That's a different kind of
I will
party.
say it does sort of ease everybody because when the landmine gets popped, everyone knows and we're done with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I do know what you mean.
Yeah. That really is a resounding end to the party
Yeah,
when the
yeah, yeah,
landmine
yeah.
goes off.
Well, sometimes you just need the game of cEDH to end. And
Yeah, that's so true.
One way.
Kind of like that game that you guys just
Yeah.
played.
Did I tell you about how our game ended the finals of a Play to Win tournament recently?
Oh, tell us.
That was another landmine moment. So the finals did not end with a winner because while we were in the finals pod in like hour 2 of a very long game and 17 minutes into a searching a library, not lying.
What?
The security guard came in and said, "Hey, the mall's on fire. You have to evacuate."
Oh my god.
And that was the end of the tournament.
That's insane.
It was crazy.
I have a new salty story. I've heard that someone was searching a library for 17 minutes. And that makes me salty.
Not great.
In the tournament?
In the tournament, in the finals pod.
What were they trying to find?
None of us know because there was a fucking fire. Like,
Oh my
But-
god.
probably one of the other players lit the building on fire so that they could stop this fucking search.
Yeah.
honestly.
I can only hope.
17 minutes had a bathroom break where they conveniently lit this fire when they realized there was no searchable target.
Yeah, maybe.
Fail to find.
We've solved cEDH. You just light a fire every time someone's in the tank.
That's a heavy fail to find. Well, you want to dive into a salty story? I got one here.
I would love.
yeah.
No, I
do
think
that.
we're done. We can wrap it.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
been good.
Well, asked and answered. Well, thanks everybody. So this post comes to us from our buddy Kieran, who I believe is a patron.
Yes.
So shout out to you. And this post is titled "You've Made Me an Asshole."
Made me.
Victim blaming. I love it.
Yep. Hey guys, your show has turned me into a salt-inducing asshole, and I love it.
Hey.
I have taken the plunge recently and wanted to try a bit of cEDH, so I started playing on Spell Table. I now realize that was not the best of ideas and was probably akin to Bilbo having his birthday party in the darkest depths of Mordor. Oh, a little reference there. That's for you, Tony.
I do like it.
First lesson I learned.
Everybody that likes Lord of the Rings, right?
No, it's only
It's
me.
just
Sorry,
Tony.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
for Tony.
Yeah.
There's a
It
note
said
here.
for Tony
It does-
only?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
Tony's
does
eyes
say
only.
that.
Got
Mhm.
it.
Tony's ears only, really. First lesson I learned was not to play Kinnan.
I will fucking kill you. What is this dude's name? I'm gonna freak out.
I also got a lot of money on that horse.
Those are the correct two people.
That's why I picked this one. Everyone expects you to have a response to everything that's happening. Meanwhile, I haven't a fucking clue what's going on.
Average Kinnan player.
Ooh. Oh my god.
I'm sorry, Chad. I do not know if your spell resolves. I don't know what a jam-boo-boo atrocity does. The card recognition thingy is not picking it up, and I'm trying to figure out if it's spelt with a U or an ooh so I can search for the fucking thing. Knowing Wizards, there's a couple of silent consonants in there, too. After pissing off a significant amount of people with my lack of meta knowledge, I decided to switch up commanders. What's the other one that they often mention on HSM? Oh yeah, Winota. I won't need to know too much about what other decks are doing. I just rule of law everything and get on with my own thing. Right, Ian? That's how you play that deck?
Sure. Yeah, that's what I would recommend as well.
Won't be a problem, right? For the fun times, I have been shoehorning saltiest cards of the week into otherwise innocent decks.
buddy.
Love that segment and thought that Winota would surely benefit from some of them. So I pop to Spell Table for a bit of cEDH fun times. I immediately spot a cEDH game with 3 out of 4 slots filled, so I jump in. Instant pressure to start the game. It looks like they have been waiting. No pregame talk, straight into the shuffle, and go. I'm 4th in the play order. Before even looking at my cards, I feel the pressure that I cannot waste time and mulligan. These guys want action.
Ooh, I did that in a finals match once. Don't do that.
Yeah,
don't do
never
that.
do that. Never do that. You got a mulligan.
Yeah.
So I look down at my cards and I smile. This is a good start. There's a Sisay player, an Atraxa player, and I can't remember what player 3 was playing. They didn't hang around that long. Get fucked, player 4 in disguise. On my turn, I play a Mountain to Soul Ring to Arcane Signet. Turn 2, I play Impending Disaster. Nobody seems to know what that does. They must not listen to
I know
your
what that does.
show.
I know what that does.
What does that do?
Once there are 8 lands in play, destroy all lands.
Oh, yeah.
Is it 7?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's either more than 7 or 7 or more.
Okay.
So 8.
Okay.
It could be 8. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, thanks for your info, Mike.
I'm saying I have no idea. I just like giving an alternate viewpoint there.
Everybody else seems too caught up in their own plays to pay any attention. They continue to play lands. My upkeep, I ask how many lands are in play. Atraxa player laughs and says, oh shit, destroy all lands, right? Unknown commander asks, all lands? I simply say, yep. He quits within nanoseconds. Sisay player also goes quiet. A couple of turns later, I am swinging at the Sisay player with 6 Winota triggers, thanks to Goro Goro and Krenko. Out pops Greymond, fuck Rick, Blade Historian, Silverwing Squadron, Anointed Peacekeeper, nominating Sisay as the target, Angrath's Marauders, and Captain of the Watch. All pointed at Sisay, as I reckon they are the biggest threat at the moment. Sisay player asks for the damage total. As I am counting it out, the Atraxa player leaves out a little chuckle. The Sisay player quits before I can finish tallying up the damage total, which was a pity as he was the host of the game. Up pops a message, game destroyed. So I did not find out if I could have finished off the Atraxa player. So I changed up commanders and still made everyone salty, not because of my ineptitude this time, but because of the Howling Salt Mine and the seditious salty cards of the week. I have to say, it is a much better feeling. Thanks, you guys. Congrats on the recent-ish 100th episode. Ooh, this is an old one. Looking forward to 100 more. As a thank you for helping me win my first cEDH game, I'm claiming it as a win. I'm now going to sign up for your Patreon.
It is.
I am a tight bastard, so it will be the cheapest tier. so once again, thank you, Sam, Mike, and Nick for all the great shows.
Yo, get fucked. Are you kidding me?
It says that.
No,
it
it
doesn't
does
say
not.
Tony, Sam, Mike, and Nick.
Yo, fuck this guy. I'm gonna
Tony, get
fucking
fucked.
yeah. Literally booting
Oh
him
my
right
god,
now.
that is so fucking funny.
I'm a little
$3 aren't worth it anymore.
I'm a little aroused by the Stax pieces mentioned there. I'm not gonna lie. With not all those are Winota staples, and I'm like, I could blow up everybody's lands though.
I did have to double check just so that we can tell the listener. It's during your upkeep if there are 7 or more lands in play.
Oh.
Sacrifice Impending Disaster and destroy all lands.
Good job,
it
Mike.
also only triggers in your upkeep.
So I just want to recap. Is what happened here that he lost because he didn't know what he was doing, and that was a salty experience, and he won because he did know what he was doing, and that was a salty experience.
It sounds like they had this Kinnan game where they had no idea what they were doing, couldn't respond to things, and had pressure to respond as the blue player. That was salty for them. We're like, okay, I'll smooth brain it with some Winota, just throw in salty bullshit, attack, and had a great experience because they were like, it doesn't matter if I don't know what's going on because I'm just going to play Stax pieces and attack.
And the other players salted so hard that they all got deleted from existence.
Yeah,
which is exactly what you want to do as a Stax player. If your opponents want to die and you see the life drain from their eyes, or on spell table, if you see their hand movements indicate that the life is draining from their eyes, then that is your perfect success. Congratulations, you've achieved Winota.
See the life drain from their hands.
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. We all play cEDH here. Is starting playing cEDH on spell table so bad just because of like card accessibility, like not being able to read things and shit like that? You know what I mean?
The spell table's a nightmare, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you don't have like the really common staples sort of memorized and just instantly know what they do and how they usually get used right offhand, it's probably a lot harder than in paper where you can reach across the table and take a look, or with friends where they're likely to explain it to you in a friendly way. If people are being impatient with you like that, like, you know, definitely you want to tell them you're a new player and I need to read stuff.
Yeah.
And then if they continue to pressure you, you got to tell them you are pieces of shit and I'm never playing with you.
Yeah.
There's also this, like, it always exists. Like, if I don't know a card, I do get anxious with myself of like, well, I got to look it up and I got to read it and I got to process what the fuck it does and like why it matters. But all that time, like that's like, 15, 20 seconds of me just like in my own head. Everybody else is just sitting there fucking waiting. And you're like, it's good. It resolves. I'll see it later.
Especially like when you're not even sure if it's something you need to react to or can react to because you don't know what it does yet. So you're like, what card type is that? Like, can I interact with that card type on the stack? I don't know.
Yeah. I will say, one of the places I unironically recommend all the time is the Play to Win Discord for new players. So I'm like, it's like a couple bucks a month. You go play there and have good games of Magic.
Ooh, hard disagree. Yeah.
Really?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was like, I thought you meant like, we got a bunch of sweats lately and they're the worst.
No, our Discord is full of people who are really friendly to newcomers, and there are pods firing more or less every night and sometimes during the day.
Obviously, you're in our Discord now. If you do want to have a much friendlier experience learning how to play some cEDH, having your first few games, you know what to do.
It's not going to be that friendly, though, because apparently you're taking all the cards from the salty list and throwing them in your deck.
That is an interesting thing. Usually that section of the podcast may not be clear, but that's usually like a cautionary tale section where we say like, hey, those cards are pretty salty. Maybe don't play them.
Except you fuckers every single time are like, whoa, we could brew around that.
Yeah.
So like, you can't yell at them too much.
That is, Tony has your ass. Nah, for sure. He's right. He's like,
right.
you guys are always
I don't
like,
recall.
but I love this card.
How do
Also,
I
for
mute this
cEDH,
thing?
like you can play whatever you want, and
That is true.
Yes.
shouts out to Kieran. I think Impending Disaster is actually a pretty nice
hot.
shout for like a Winota deck.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Because
very
if you
interesting.
get your board stayed out with the 2 lands that you need,
don't
and
need
a
any
couple
lands.
rocks, then your lands are gone, and everyone else is set back, and you're like, okay, well, flipping big stuff. It's
Yeah.
great.
No more dockside.
Sweet.
So
I want to clarify for Kieran, too. Was it Kieran, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Kieran, listen, I wasn't trying to poach you for the Play to Win Discord, okay? I'm saying you can do both. You can do both. On both there, you can check if there's games going here, you go there. If there's games going here, you go there. So don't skip, man.
Yeah, and Tyler brought it up too, so that's the really important part. known poacher, Tyler.
Well, what do we think about the salt rating here on this one?
I think it is I don't have a great metaphor, but I will say I think it's really high salt to have your first cEDH game be with a bunch of fucking randos on spell table who it sounded like are not. Maybe you didn't communicate that it was your first game to these people, and that could have been a step in the wrong direction, but it just didn't sound like a friendly place to learn, especially on like a Kinnan list where you are expected to have some interaction and know when to interact. And if you can't even fucking read the cards that your opponents are playing or like process what is happening, and you're just new to the cEDH meta as a whole, it's a recipe for a bad time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other part is a lot saltier, to me, honestly. When people are just quitting, like I'm taking my ball and going home.
Dude.
Like grow up, take your lumps. Like if you're going to play cEDH, don't take every loss personally. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Especially when you're hosting the game on a spell table and you fucking leave and it shuts it down for everyone
That's
else.
a fucking power move right there.
Yeah.
And like damage isn't even like maybe you're alive. Who knows what you draw
Literally,
off the top?
dude.
Like
Yeah.
I will
Mike,
say,
you said Angraphs Marauders. There's no way this person was alive. Shut the fuck up.
as a tournament grinder, though, like if hypothetically I could assign one opponent to be the quote game host in a tournament setting and then kill them so hard that they rage quit, so I get to kill 3 people at once, I think that's an optimal advantage. So I'm feeling great about that.
Yeah. I mean, that is true. In a tournament setting, that's pretty awesome.
Just, delete one player, win the whole game. Fuck yeah.
back on the table.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. That's a good one.
Is it that time of the week?
Tony, I think it is that time of the week.
Well, fucking lay it on me, baby. What time is it?
It's the time of the week that comes every week.
Every motherfucking week, baby.
It's the time of the week where we say, Mike.
Mike.
What's the salty card of the week?
Seeing that live is disconcerting.
Hey, you like that?
Yeah,
Just
just
till I start singing.
for you listeners at home, they're just making faces of abject pain and misery as they do this. I can't believe we have to do this bit again.
Stop forcing them to do this.
No, that's awesome.
Mike makes us say this every week.
That is true. Mike has a gun on them currently.
I'm glad you asked. The salty card of the week this week is
Ain't it a shame? Oh, getting the beat down the jerk too slow. I'm gonna pop off with the drink on bow and reach away.
Thank you. That was lovely.
I didn't have enough time to dig into the requests, and I've just had that song stuck in my head for like a week.
No, that was perfect.
Mostly I've been singing, give me a beef bowl with free bok choy.
That's pretty good.
Hell yeah. Well, this interacts with that free bok choy, because the salty card of the week this week is Trinisphere.
Oh, with 3 bok choy.
Yeah. Or your free bok choy. It also.
Have we not done Trinisphere? I'm shocked.
I am too, unless it's not on the tracker, but it is on the tracker.
Okay, awesome.
I love 3-ball.
3 mana for an artifact. As long as Trinisphere is untapped, each spell that would cost less than 3 mana to cast costs 3 mana to cast.
Wow. Powerful words.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for sharing.
I think there's a really important distinction here that I want to cover before we go into it. I think this gets 2 different salt ratings.
Yes.
Wow.
2 different salt ratings, and one of them is in every deck that is not this deck, and the other one is in Urza, which can tap it for a blue mana.
Yeah.
I think that needs to be a distinction.
You can throw in the weird Gruul one that can tap it.
Miria.
Miria. We gotta,
There's got to be a.
Don't buy.
also Galazeth Prismari.
Hey,
known.
It's true. Prismari.
Thanks, Sam.
Galazeth Prismari is pretty dope.
Am I explaining my feelings towards the 3-ball
Does this
card?
make you salty, Ian?
So actually, funny story. I have told it on this very podcast. One of my saltiest cEDH moments was an Urza player turn wanting a Trinisphere on the play.
Good Lord.
On a win-in I had.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah, and so nowadays, this was maybe 3 years ago at this point, and nowadays I don't think it would make me as salty, but sometimes, specifically the curve. Oh, it was a mana crypt start actually, and that's why it made me super salty, because it was turn 1 Trinisphere into turn 2 Urza with the ability to turn it off immediately, and I said, you know what? I guess it's not my fucking day. On the other hand, I love playing the card. The card's pretty sick, and if used responsibly without like the high roll, I think it's a really interesting card, at least from a teacher perspective. You know what I mean? Like going into the format, being like, well, if you're losing with it a lot, it's probably because you're playing it wrong, right?
How do you feel, Tyler?
That's a hard one for me. I don't dislike tax cards like that in general. I do think very early Trinisphere starts that just say everyone else is doing absolutely nothing can feel bad, but bad in the same way that many other stacks do when they're effectively shutting you out, which is like, this feels bad, but that is what your strategy is, and that's not high salt to me. That's just what it does, and it sucks, but sometimes it happens. I don't personally play it in Kinnan, even though a lot of Kinnan lists do, but that's just because I don't like playing around it, and I don't like having to mulligan hands where sometimes it's great and sometimes it sucks and it's too much thinking, so I just run Gilded Goose.
I will say, like, there's a number of us that have recorded our Trinisphere numbers, and it's like close to an 80 to 90% win rate post resolution.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. I still don't give a shit. That's wild.
But like you were saying, though, it's post resolution if you know what you're doing with it, right? Sam, how do you feel?
I love Trinisphere. I think it's incredibly cool. I love the design space. I love that when you're calculating the mana cost for a spell, the final step of it is always, is there a Trinisphere out?
I'm so glad you brought this up. It's because it's my favorite thing.
It's so funny.
My favorite thing, because it'd be like, all right. So there's this Thalia effect, and then and then do this, and then someone finally just at the end goes, and also, does it cost 3?
Yeah, exactly. It's like original cost, alternate cost increasers, cost reducers. Is there a Trinisphere out?
And this kind of shit is the reason that Magic can only be explained to new players verbally, because if they try and read the comprehensive rules, which is over 160 pages, if I remember correctly, and they see shit like this, where it's just like, there's 4 steps to calculating how much something costs, and one of them is only for 1 card out of 26,000 cards. What the fuck are you talking about?
It's silly. But I used to play it a lot because I used to play Stax almost exclusively in cEDH, and it was very fun. I had a lot of games where I won with an early Trinisphere, and then I had a lot of games where I played a Trinisphere, and I was like, well, I would love to play a Llanowar Elf on this future turn, but it costs 3 mana now. That's really dog shit. So I don't know. There's high highs and low lows with it, but overall, I think it's just a really cool design, and I dig it.
Yo, fuck this card.
Classic.
I'm not a Stax boy. Never have been, never will be. I fucking played it in Godo like 10,000 years ago when I was playing that. And I hated it then, and I'm not one of those good pilots because my record was not 80% of a win when I played it. I got nothing else crazy to say. How about you, Mike? How does it make you feel?
I think, people have said a lot about it already, but there's also like the element of sometimes it comes down and just hits really asymmetrically. Like one player is still very easy to play out from under it. Yep. And particularly an early Trinisphere, like even not just the caster of the Trinisphere, sometimes like someone turn 1 plays a couple rocks, and then player 2 plays the Trinisphere.
Yeah.
And like 3 and 4 are locked out and watching the 1v1.
Yeah.
And then like sometimes like player 1 just goes away with it from like a position like that too. And I think in situations like that, being player 3 and 4 is like pretty rough.
Yeah.
I think overall, like it is kind of an iconic Magic card as well. Like it's been around for a really long time. It has like the weird tapping mechanic for like, you know, what ancient artifacts used to have. So for all those reasons, I kind of like it a lot. But I see that it makes a lot of salty situations.
I think what you missed though is player 3 and 4 in those scenarios should have been better. And like
that is
call.
true. I did forget to challenge them on their skill. Yeah.
So,
I can hear the salt. Tony does hate this the most of all of us for sure. Which is ironic because he's cosplaying as Trinisphere at all times. That shiny paint.
I think it also bears mentioning that obviously we're talking a lot about Trinisphere and cEDH. Trinisphere and casual, not that impactful.
Well, you know,
like pretty easy to play through because most of your spells in casual are like 2, 3, or 4 mana and up. And after a certain point, you're like, well, you know, it's not a huge cost. Whereas in cEDH, it's like all my free shit is now 3. I can't set up my board. It came down super early, you know?
But I think it keeps, and this is where the weird dichotomy goes. It keeps the slightly broken, I'm going to cast things for free commanders off. But sometimes those commanders can actually not be built psychotically, and that's fine, right? Like, but like the ones I always think are like Narset, Itali, Maelstrom Wanderer, and I'm like, you know what? You should pay 3 for those spells, actually, guys. But I feel like there's the weird in between ones that aren't that crazy. That I'm like, I would feel bad for whoever that middle tier person is, who's like, I had to spend 6 mana to get 1 free spell, but it's worth it because it's free. Like that person, I feel bad that they have to go an additional 3. Like,
So where does this sit on the list, Mike?
Wouldn't you like to know? Why don't you take some guesses?
Are we taking guesses? Yeah, how are we doing this?
Absolutely.
So this is top 300 salty cards on EDH Rec, and we can write it down if you would like, or you can just go off the dome.
Yeah, not gonna lie. Lately or recently, you guys did Winota on one of these, and it was like way higher than I thought. So
Winota
now
was
my
150.
It was 150 in last year's salt.
Yeah, last year's salt rating.
Right, but wasn't this year's like lower? I thought.
I don't know if we've looked it up this year.
I think we did.
Okay.
And I forget what we said.
Yeah, it was like I just remember it being closer to 0 than I was comfortable with.
Yeah, it definitely made people saltier for sure.
Yeah.
I have a guess.
Hit me with it, Sam.
I'm guessing 54.
I'm guessing 113.
48.
I'm going to say 93.
Tony takes it.
Whoa.
What? It is 138.
Yeah, let's fucking go. Wow.
138.
138?
Yeah.
That's much lower than I thought.
Yeah.
I wonder if I do wonder if that's an accessibility thing because I don't see it often in casual games.
Yep.
And even in cEDH, it has fallen out of favor a little bit in the last year.
I think it goes to what you talked about too, though. Like in casual, you're like, yeah, I'm making my land drops. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I think.
My cultivate still costs 3.
I'm just really good at this game, so it was exactly where I thought it would be.
True. Sorry, what number did you say?
That's not important, but I won. So
Interesting.
Like, that's what
I
matters.
don't know.
Pretty sure Tony said 138. I don't know what you guys talk about. Yeah.
See, Ian gets it.
We'll check the tapes.
And then check if it costs 3 at the very end.
Well, that wraps it up for the salty card of the week.
Well, thanks, Mike. That was a lovely salty card. And thank you to all the prospectors out there for tuning into another episode of the Howling Salt Mine. If you want more Howling Salt Mine content, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Howling Salt Mine. Fuck, I'm supposed to shout out the patrons first, which I will do now. Salt Pack of Plus tier members. Sam will record this and put it in post. And this week we have Thoptimus Prime, Rothbox, Sire Speedy, Bobo Fett, Brimstone, Captain Kraz, Elgo Fogel, Clearbrook, D. Beeson, Gilgamesh, Doug's Dad, Bark Bark, Pez, Swankub, The Quiet One, and Vok. Thanks for being so supportive, y'all. We appreciate it.
Oh, also, just do you care if I plug something real quick?
Plug.
If you want to hear Ian and I make more mouth noises, we stream that every Sunday night from about 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. just nonstop into the microphone. Weird mouth noises. It's like ASMR, but worse. Please, please go enjoy.
And if you pay for their Patreon, they'll send you a cassette tape.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be weird noises, but not with our mouths.
Wow, dude, chill out.
Wow.
Very salty.
I didn't.
Very
what
salty.
it was.
Well, thank you both for jumping on with us for the tail end of this episode. We appreciate it.
You are so welcome. Thank you for having us.
And thank you to Ken and Dan, who we had on earlier, and Lua and Tori, who we had on earlier. And like I said, if you want more Howling Salt Mine content, check out our Patreon. Other ways you can support us, we got shirts on Bonfire, playmats on Jank Mats. Send us your salty stories, howlingsaltmine.com or thehowlingsaltmine.com. You can submit them on there. You can email them to us at our Gmail, which is thehowlingsaltmine@gmail.com. Another way that you can support us is give us a 5-star review in your favorite podcast app of choice. It really helps us out, helps us stick out in the algorithm. It's great. Is that it, everybody?
Hey, folks, well, especially Kieran, who said he's like kind of stingy. One other way that they never mentioned that you can support them as creators, they really can't go into the comments and be mean to people who are being shitty to them. So go in the comments and be shitty to someone who is being shitty to them. That is great support. It is so true.
That is a really good point. Thankfully, we don't have too many people that are shitty.
We are deputizing you. Go fucking get them.
Fucking beam them.
And usually where people are mean to us would be YouTube, because there really isn't anywhere else that you can comment, because our stuff is now on YouTube. So go check it out there.
Yeah.
And if you do say something mean, I'll delete it. But I will read it. I will read it and internalize it.
Can you leave when people beam other people though, but delete the comment? So it's just like people shitting on.
If it's a sweet enough dunk, I will leave it.
Yeah,
I will leave it for sure. And of course, we got to shout him out, our buddy Devin Burnett, for giving us our beautiful podcast art. If you're ever in Asheville, North Carolina, hit him up and get a tattoo. He's a really cool guy.
10,000 subscribers are buzz.
Indeed. And as always, stay salty, everyone. And don't forget to draw an additional card during your draw step.
Unless it's tapped with
The Howling Salt Mine.
Yeah, let's get on the bed. Let's crisscross applesauce and I'll get in a little circle.
Yeah, why don't we all take our socks off and we'll touch toes?
Do we
Mind the cables.
do I need to like turn my phone off or anything?
Nope.
Like, oh, okay, no feedback.
No, this is too tight. I'm just going to sit on the floor.
No, Dan.
Whoa.
Dan,
There's space. There's so
I'm
much space.
I'm scrunched over.
I kind of like, I like to be able to like look at you all better this way though.
This is also like a sleepover, classic sleepover.
Yeah, like
It is.
I'm going
This
to be
is
like
complete-
cranking my
complete
neck to
friends
look
in the
at
other
Sam,
one.
which
The friend were like, get off the bed.
my feet smell, I know. No, I'm down here just so I can be nose level with everyone's feet now.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Yeah.
This will be a great blooper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you recording already?
Yes, I am. I ain't no fool. I know to get
You
this
start
shit.
rolling early.
I know to get this fucking shit.
It's ludicrous starburst.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck.
I did.
I thought of that a long time ago, and I was like, "This would be a great tweet," but that trend has ended.
That's really good. Should we do another salty story?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Like right now, actually.
Oh no, I'm just doing.
You're just
kind of
saying-
just like
okay, yeah.
teeing it up.
That's why
Nice.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
I'm just teeing it up, and then that's where we'll break, and then we'll
right.
we'll come in.
That's consider it tea,
baby.
All right. Yeah. See, smooth as butter.
Yeah.
Smooth as
chunky raw milk butter.
Absolutely.
Chocolate chunk.
Yeah.
Chocolate chunk cookies. Boom. And then that's where it breaks.
And just so the audience knows, I'm yelling right now.
Yeah. Dan is doing the Rizzler thing. All right. That was perfect, guys.
And salty, dirty stuff is coming to mind while I say salty.
dirty.
Like this.
salty, dirty
You
stuff.
know me.
Salty, dirty stuff.
I mean, we are an explicit show.
Yeah.
What's Trinisphere do there, Mike?
Give me one moment. I was not prepared.
You don't know
I
this
wasn't
text?
so prepared. I do. I just want to get it right. It's 3 mana for an artifact. That's a 10.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Mike. Someone knows.